Are you happy with your budget? Do you feel like you have no wiggle room when it comes to your budget? That's something that we need to talk about. Thanks for checking out this video. If you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, it will be greatly appreciated. This is Larry Poteat Jr. I'm your real estate agent as well as your financial planning consultant. In today's video, we're talking budget. That's the first component of the BSI challenge, which is the budgeting, saving, and investing challenge. We're talking about the budget when it comes to looking at your budget and seeing where's the money going. A lot of times I hear from my clients, we take an inventory of the dollars that are coming inside of your household, which is the income portion of the budget, and then the dollars that are going outside of the household, which are your expenses. And a lot of times we're trying to figure out, hey, I don't have any wiggle room. I really can't breathe when it comes to my expenses. I'm not sure where to cut costs. I don't know what I need to do with my budget because I need to figure out where the money is going, because I know I make this and I know I spend this, but I still should have some wiggle room in my budget, and I feel like I don't. And so in this case, what we need to do is we need to write every single expense down, because for the most part, we have a good handle on the money that's coming inside of the house. We have a very good idea of how much money we make. But when it becomes time to look at our spending, that's where we can lose track and lose focus. So we need to capture those fixed expenses, those expenses that don't change, the mortgages, the rents, the car notes, those totals on a monthly basis stay the same. It's those variable expenses that we need to take control of. Your utilities. 1 month, your gas bill may be high. The next minute, it may come down to be normal. Same thing with your electricity bills. Cell phone bills can fluctuate a little, but those items that we need to focus on are those budget busters that I refer to all of the time. That can be eating out. That can be grocery shopping. That can be gas for your car. Do you shop? Do you incorporate your shopping expenses in your budget? I always do hypotheticals when I meet with my clients. Let's say if you have a vending machine in your office, when you go to the vending machine, if you go to the vending machine every day, do you count that in the bucket of eating out? Is that miscellaneous? Where does that go? Because you can spend $10, maybe $25 a week. That can be $50 to almost $200 every month. And we can lose track of those expenses. And so we need to focus on those items. If you travel, where does that money come from? Do you have a dedicated bucket in your budget to focus on, hey, I'm traveling in 6 months. This trip needs to be paid off. I'm putting $500 away for this trip. I'm putting $200 away from this trip. Okay, the trip is paid off. With the trip, is that just the flight and the lodging? Are you counting the money that you're going to spend on food? We need to track every single dollar that's going outside of the house. I have a birthday coming up. I need to track whether or not I'm going out of town or if I'm going to dinner. Where do we capture those in our budget? Do we have a dedicated bucket for that? When we make our Target runs, our trips to Starbucks, is that going out to eat? Is that miscellaneous? Target may be miscellaneous. Going out to eat, does that include getting coffee? Does that include work lunches? We need to make sure that it's very specific. If we have a going out to eat dinner, going out to eat lunch, a coffee bucket, we need to track every single dollar. And almost every video that I do, you're going to hear me say we need to track every single dollar and have the necessary bucket for that. Because if we don't, That's how we get into situations where I know I make this, I should have money left over, but I don't. Where's the money going? It could be going to the vending machine. It could be going to the Target runs, to the Starbucks runs, to the birthday trip funds. That's what we need to keep track of. But more importantly, if we get to the point that we're tracking our dollars, we're looking at our budget, and then we're looking at our bank statement, and we can see, hey, the expenses are justified. I'm pretty pinpoint. I'm pretty accurate in my tracking of my budget. What next? Larry, I need help. I just don't have any wiggle room that I thought I had. In this particular case, you may need additional income. Because a lot of times when I do meet with my clients, just getting rid of your Netflix account, $15, $16, that may not help, because you may need to pay off debt. You may need to increase savings, and $15, $20, it definitely can help because it is money. There are dollars associated with it. But in order to make a dent, and in order to make a significant increase in your savings account, we're going to need a significant amount of additional income. And so if your budget isn't where you want, and if you can't reduce certain buckets to a certain amount that's going to be helpful, getting additional income in certain situations may do the trick. But we have to be mindful that getting another job, getting a side hustle, sometimes can be a detriment to your budget as well. Let's say if you get a second job, but that job requires you to drive more, that affects your gas bill or your gas expenses. And so that may allow you to break even. And so the additional income just went to the increase in expenses for gas. And so that almost defeats the purpose. And so it's not just about finding a job or finding a means to get additional income, because by doing that, the methods that you're using to get that additional income can hurt or can add to your expenses that are going out. And so that's something that I talk about with my clients, and providing them solutions and looking at the bigger picture, because sometimes we could just be focused on the short-term solution, that we just put ourselves in a situation that may ultimately be more of a detriment to our budget than we really thought. So to sum things up, I want us to make sure that we're dedicated, that we're consistent, that we're disciplined, and that we're focused on our budget. We need to be held accountable when it comes to our expenses. But more importantly, a lot of times just scrapping something or reducing a bucket in our budget may not always do the trick. We may need to look for additional income. Also, we have to be very decisive on the means that we get that additional income. So I hope that made sense. I hope this was very helpful. If you guys have any questions or any feedback, please respond below. I look forward to hearing from you guys. I hope you guys have a blessed day.